We kick off in the high plains of Peru with this dude named Marshall. He's in the trenches like a hog looking for mushroom specimens for research. It's foggy. There's a bunch of turtles walking around. It's a vibe. That's when Marshall finds it. The ultimate power-up shroom like it's Mario, only it's blue like Walter White. But there's people on his ass, so Marshall needs to get out of there expeditiously. Vibe time is over. And don't let the animation style fool you. Marshall looks goofy, but he can move, dodging bullets and sprinting for his life to the getaway plane. He does get on the plane right before it takes off, but the opposition got a shot off on the pilot. They are going down. Well, it's now or never. Marshall eats the shroom and enters the trip of all trips. He has a baby. The universe is the womb. He's in the astral world now. And there's this little Pillsbury dude just staring at him until he blooms like a flower. Marshall wakes up in the forest. Plane is destroyed. The pilot has been dead. He has no idea how he survived, but he has his shrooms and his turtle. Marshall should be dead, but the mushroom saved him. Marshall has been telling this whole story to his high school crush Francis over a cup of coffee. They've reconnected at a press conference because Marshall was trying to confront the evil pharmaceutical company, Ryudocal, about how they've been dumping toxic waste where he found the mushroom and the turtles. What Marshall doesn't know is that Francis not only works for Ryudocal, she is actually the assistant to the CEO. Marshall is going off on her company. Marshall said, "The system is broken. Pharmaceutical companies are a bunch of hoes. We spend all our money on healthcare and everyone is still sick. If I get my hands on a pharma executive, I'm going Luigi. Fuck now." Francis takes a phone call from her boss, Rick, who was played by Mike Judge of King of the Hill fame, and it's pretty funny, not gonna lie. But Marshall gets a suspicion that he's being watched and sneaks out of the coffee shop without saying bye. Marshall was smart for that because there has been someone watching him. The DEA is on his ass after he escaped Peru. The DEA and Ryudocal go way back. When Pharma got a problem, they know just who to call to clean it up. So the DEA chief says she knows just the people to put on the case. The best of the best of the best of the best of the best, sir. And then it cuts to these two goobers, Tupano and Harrington, Salt and Pepper. They are low-key my favorite characters because they are just some detectives thinking they are taking down some bad guys, not knowing that they are doing the bidding of the evil people at the top. We follow up with Francis and her boss Rick. Turns out that the company is doing some restructuring and they need a new project to save some jobs. Francis doesn't feel great about going behind Marshall's back about this, but she tells her boss that she might have something for them. We cut to Marshall's farmhouse and the DEA agents are staking the place out and giving some exposition about Marshall. Turns out that Marshall got rich as hell from analyzing barcodes on scratch-off tickets to determine the winners and made millions. So my boy's wicked smart and built different. This gives Capano and Harrington pause because he's not like the other drug dealers they've investigated, but they already got the warrant, so it's time to clock him. They underestimated him though because he's got tunnels out of his house like El Chapo and he's been gone. Marshall is officially on the run and he doesn't have many people he can trust right now, so of course he calls Francis. This is when we meet Jonas the Wolf. Now Jonas is the big dog of the pharma game. He's the guy that tells all the pharma CEOs what to do. He's friends with the president. He basically handpicked the current head of the DEA. He's like Emperor Palpatine if I'm speaking clearly. And Jonas is pissed that they let Marshall get away, so he's going to give them a little help with his own set of goofy ass looking team of assassins. Marshall Wick is officially excommunicado. We catch up with Marshall and unfortunately, he can't meet up with Francis because two goons are waiting for him at the meetup spot. And since his new pet turtle is sick, Marshall hits plan B. His half-brother owns a pet shop. His brother is high off his ass and makes the perfect mixture for the turtle. Marshall also has some good neighbors that are willing to burn any evidence at his farmhouse. However, they burn up the place when Francis is also at his place looking for him. And these idiots accidentally end up burning the whole house down, which only increases the suspicion from the DEA agents. While Marshall's on the road, a weird dude in an alien mask starts juggling in front of his car, and I'm like, huh? Little did Marshall know it was a trap, and in that moment, a garbage truck rams into Marshall's car. But the assassins are like, it's not enough. And they pull out the straps about to do Marshall like Alonzo in Training Day. Luckily for Marshall, he keeps the mushrooms close to the chest and is able to get out of there. So one thing I gotta mention about Francis is that her mom is in the nursing home and she has dementia or Alzheimer's. Basically, she's not doing well. But Marshall actually dropped something off earlier that may help. So Francis crumbled up the mushrooms and throws it into some applesauce for her mom, and nothing happens. So maybe this shroom isn't as powerful as we think it is. The great mystery of this show is trying to figure out how the mushrooms actually work. We see it heals people's wounds like a sensor beam, but what else can it do? Could it heal addiction? Bad breath? Can it heal your ability to hit the like and subscribe button? The world may never know. But Francis gets another call from Marshall and she's kind of mad because, how are you going to give me false hope and get me and my mom wrapped up into this tomfoolery? Francis said, get out of my life, you broke bum ass loser. lose my number, and hangs up. Marshall got bigger problems though. The DEA and assassins are tracking him, so he picks up a cool new ride from a junkyard and gets out of town. While he's on the road, he finds a dude that was just in a bad car crash. He's on his last breath, and Marshall needs to make a decision because he's running out of mushrooms and he hasn't even figured out how he's going to make more. But Marshall, being the good guy that he is, he gives the dude a mushroom and heads on his way. Now this dude is going to become very important to the plot because basically Marshall just resurrected the dude from the dead like he was white Jesus. So after that, Marshall makes his way to his old mentor's house, Hildy. And let me tell you something, Hildy is a straight menace. See, Hildy has spent her whole life looking for the perfect mushroom, and Marshall found it. So Hildy's already feeling a certain type of way because she feels like it belongs to her, and she really doesn't like that Marshall already told some girl about it. Hildy hypothesizes something interesting. She said that the pharma company had been dumping their toxic waste where the mushroom grows, so that means the toxic sludge is probably what the mushroom is feeding off of and why it grows in that one particular spot. The pharma company has basically created their own problem. At this point, you would think that Hildy would want to examine the mushroom and put it under a microscope, run some tests or something. Nah, she's about that action. She pulls out a snub-nosed revolver and shoots herself in the heart and gets knocked back like 10 feet. Next thing you know, she's also in the astral realm having the trip of her life. Hildy wakes up all happy that she finally has the mushroom, but again, Hildy is a menace, so she doesn't want to work with Marshall at all. She basically calls him a bitch, saying, leave it with me and get the fuck out. It's actually insane the flip she does because she goes for the gun again and starts pulling the trigger on Marshall. But while she was healing up, Marshall had already taken the bullets out of the gun. But let's not get it twisted. She pulled the trigger like 10 times. She was really going to deflate Marshall just to get her hands on the mushrooms. No negotiations, no nothing. She even tries just throwing the gun at him. The disrespect from this octogenarian is insane. Marshall is better than me because I would have hit her with the people's elbow and sent her to the nursing home to hang out with Francis's mom. Marshall said, yeah, coming here was probably a mistake. You should probably sit your old ass down. And he walks out on her ass. And from there, y'all gonna have to just watch the show yourself. It's an Adult Swim production available for streaming on HBO. Episodes are an easy breezy 20 minutes long, and it just got renewed for season 2. So go and get it. Take your medicine.